What's up, bulls, and welcome to December. Hope you guys are enjoying the holidays. Today I'm going to be having fun with this beautiful short wavy bob from Virgo Hair. Don't want to hold you guys, just want to make sure you're subscribed. There will be 30 videos or more in the month of December. I'm going to be doing tons of hair reviews. I'm going to be doing some vlogs, some cooking videos. I've already got hubby on board to actually help me edit, so I am super excited. Hopefully I can get a vlog up for you guys later today, but I just wanted to show you how fun and cute this one is. I'll be showing you my curly hair routine for when I have nice curly hair. Now, of course, if you don't have good quality hair, you got to put a little bit more work, but this here is some bomb hair. Very easy to manage, no tangling or shedding. Hi! No tangling or shedding beyond what is normal. It came pre-parted, but I kind of went ahead and made it look as natural as possible within the time frame that I had. This is a 4x4 closure wig, and I did my best to kind of make it look more frontal-ish. Let me show you guys it from the back. It's the perfect length so that it doesn't sit and drag on my shoulders, but not too short that it's like way up at the ears. So when you get tired of it, you can have some fun and take it up a little bit higher in the back and make it a little bit more asymmetrical. You can do one side short, one side longer. You can just have fun with it. You can even turn it into a pixie cut of some sort at the very end. Even when you do short hair, you can always still make it versatile and get your money's worth by doing different styles as you get more and more and more tired of it, or as it gets older. Also, it's a closure, so the closure starts from here to here. So you can do like some little thin twisties or some braids going back, or you know, a small top knot bun. Just have fun with it. Again, hope you guys are enjoying the holidays. Now let's jump into the tutorial.
What's up, my boss babies? I decided to remove this wig here. It's kind of cool, but I'm ready for something new. So Virgo Hair sent me over a wig. Now normally I get bundles from them, but they sent over a wig and it came with one of those netted wig caps I never use. I always smell my wigs because I'm always curious to know if it stings or not. If it stings, it's not going on my head. Now this one here is a 4x4 closure lace wig, pre-made, loose wave texture. Very, very, very gorgeous texture. I always find that their hair is super soft, very easy to manage, and they have some hair that actually lasts a long time. Like, this is the type of hair that you will be able to hold on to and keep for years. Literally, I've had wigs from them that literally like a year later, 2 years later, I still have and still are in good condition. Now that I've told you about that, we're gonna go ahead and install the wig. So the first thing I do is I add my elastic. Now this is a key piece if you want a glueless wig. It doesn't really matter how tight you're able to construct your cap, or at least for me, it still will move and slide, and sometimes your closure or frontal won't lay as flat as you want without glue unless you add an elastic band. Now sometimes I'll use an elastic that is about 2 inches wide. Sometimes I'll use a 1.5 wide. They even come in like 1 inch. They come in all different sizes, I guess you would say. So this is how I do it with the 4x4 closure. I just lay it on one side, I flip it over, and you kind of want to make it into a circle. Like, you don't want to lay it flat on each side, you want to make it like a round. I don't know if that even makes sense, but just follow along with what I'm doing. When I put the wig on and I flip everything right side in, it's going to make sense when it actually lays flat without glue. So my next step is going to be to add the powder to the parting. This is just so that when the wind blows, if I part in different spaces, it looks a little bit more like scalp. Now it's not going to bleach the knots, but it's going to kind of conceal some of them if you pack it on right. As you guys see, I went from a big foundation brush to a small eyeshadow brush because I really wanted to pack the color on the hairline. I went overboard, and you can see it transferred to the hair, which is not a big deal because I'm going to be able to just use water or mousse and it'll come right out. Whereas if you use like a liquid concealer or foundation, or even that leg spray that a lot of times I'll use, it'll keep an ashy tint on the hair, and that's the downside to using other products, and where I find that powder foundation just overall is the best choice for me. Now you guys can see when I part, it already is the same color as my skin. Again, this does not bleach the knots, but it does, you know, if you're not going to bleach the knots, this is definitely a must do to help, you know, from a distance, everybody think that it's coming out of your scalp. Now with 4x4 closures, I used to just wear them center parted or side parted with nothing. I find that the best way to wear a closure is to do your best to make it look like a frontal, just in the sense that you don't want it to be super full. With closures, usually they don't come pre-plucked, whereas with frontals now it's becoming more of a standard to become pre-plucked. Closures just come where, you know, at the very tip or very front of the lace is just as full as every other section of the lace, and you kind of want to thin that out. Now with this closure, I do find that because it's pre-parted, I don't know what it is, but personally, just in general, I do find that pre-parted lace closures and lace frontals tend to not be as flawless as free part. So if you are looking, I would honestly recommend that you choose the free part option. Now closures work, you're going to see in the end of this video and even in the beginning that this looks amazing, but just for my own personal preference, I find that when I do pre-parted, that part is just a little bit too perfect. It's almost like you want your wig to be perfect, but a perfect part doesn't help the wig to look perfect. Don't even know if I'm making any sense. But at this point, I've got my desired baby hair. I kind of feel like it can be thicker. You guys know I usually like a thicker baby hair, but at the same time, this may look a little bit more natural. I find that if I would have bleached the knots, this would be flawless at this point. Super perfect. But because the knots are not bleached, you kind of can see them in the hairline, and that is just, you know, a personal preference of what I've done. I'm going to add powder in just a moment, but for now I'm focusing on styling the wig. And you guys know what I do to make it flat up top. I like to go ahead and add a good amount of mousse and pretty much press that in with the side of my flat iron. A better option would be to use a hot comb and kind of just press the root out, you know, and maybe add a little bit of a holding spray on top of that. But, you know, this is an easier way, and this seems to be the way that works, you know, quickest and easiest for my installs. Now here I am kind of going upward at the very front of the closure, and the reason I'm doing that is because I kind of like that height in the front sometimes. So at this point I kind of thought that was what I wanted. Now I am kind of heavy-handed with the mousse in this video. An alternative would be to just co-wash the wig under the sink and to go ahead and just get it wet, you know, put a little bit of conditioner in it, and you will need less product for styling. But this worked for me, and again, I've used their hair so many times that I already know that this is going to be a flawless wig and a flawless texture. Sometimes when you're used to working with a specific company, or if you have a preference of where you purchase your own hair from, you already know what to expect from the hair, that you don't need to necessarily test it. Like, I'm testing it by styling it, but I don't have to you know, wonder if it's gonna last or wonder if it's gonna work. So here I am going ahead and using my tweezers to kind of open up the parting a little bit. Again, this one is pre-parted, and I do find that it looks a little bit too perfect sometimes. So what I do is I just go against the grain and kind of just pull hair out from the parting area so that it doesn't look too perfect. Once I add my powder in the end, it'll look much better than it does right now, but it definitely did help. Like, you get a shot here and it looks a little bit more natural. Now here's a back shot of the hair. I don't know how many times I can say it, or how much I can say it, or how many ways I can say it, but Virgo hair has some amazing hair. They never ever let me down. And I've been working with them for off and on for about 3 years. So trust me, they have some amazing hair. So all I'm doing here is I'm adding a little bit of mousse. When you add mousse with no water, sometimes it does add a hold. So if you don't want a crunch or a hold to your hair, definitely wet it. At this point, I could not find my spray bottle for dear life, and I did not feel like submerging my head under the water. I found it now, so my life is saved. But at this point, I just wanted to style the hair without using water because I did not have a spray bottle. So even when I add powder underneath, I still go back at the very end and add powder on top, and this is just going to help because powder does tend to wear off. So you know, you will have to reapply it here and there. Even when I bleach my knots, I still add powder on a daily basis because when you bleach your knots, it makes the lace a general color. So either you tint your lace or you use like a foundation powder to kind of custom color the lace to blend in with your skin best. And again, I felt like the baby hair was a little bit too thin. Definitely many of you will, you know, prefer thinner baby hair. But in this case, I kind of wanted it to be just a tad bit fuller. Not like super thick and clumpy, but just a little bit more. And that's the great thing about, you know, wigs. You can make the baby hair a little bit fuller, and if I decide I did too much, I can kind of brush a little bit of that backwards into the wig, you know, to not be outward. Now that I've added the mousse, I don't want that crunch, so I'm just going to add a little bit of my wet. This is my power duo. I have the Wet by Sebastian's. I get the generic version from Sally's, and then I also have my mousse. And these typically are my favorite styling products for my loose wave hair. Again, this is a 4x4 closure lace wig. The texture is loose wave. Everything about this one was amazing, and it is 150% density. If wig is feeling super tight and snatched and you're just feeling yourself, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.